Update 2. My stepdaughter replaced me with her biological father at her engagement party, then publicly humiliated me, saying, "You were never a father to me." But when her wedding fell apart, I wasn't there to help. Then I grabbed my jacket, walked out the door, and drove away. For the first time in years, I didn't know where I was going, but I knew one thing for sure: I wasn't coming back. I checked into a motel that night, not because I had nowhere else to go, I had plenty of friends who would have let me crash, but because I needed to be alone. I needed to sit in that silence and really let it sink in. Anna didn't love me, Sarah never really had my back, I wasn't part of that family anymore. I laid on the stiff motel bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying the last 20 years of my life, the Christmas mornings, the birthdays, the scraped knees, the long nights when Anna cried about a boy breaking her heart, and I told her she was worth more than some high school idiot who didn't see it. All of it gone, and for what? Because Mark, deadbeat Mark, had shown up for one night and stolen the spot I had earned over 2 decades. I clenched my jaw, forcing the bitterness down. I wouldn't let it consume me. The last goodbye. The next morning, I went back to the house, not to fight, not to talk, to pack. I walked in, and for the first time in years, it didn't feel like home. The furniture, the pictures on the wall, the smell of coffee, none of it belonged to me anymore. Sarah was sitting at the kitchen table with her coffee, scrolling through her phone. She looked up when I came in, and for a second her eyes widened in surprise. "Robert," she said slowly, "you didn't come home last night." "No," I said, walking past her toward the bedroom, "I didn't." I heard her set her mug down a little too hard. "So what, you're just going to ignore me now?" I didn't answer. I grabbed a suitcase from the closet and started throwing my clothes inside. That was when she finally walked in, arms crossed, leaning against the door frame. "You're being ridiculous," she said. "You're really going to do this over one night?" I zipped the suitcase. "It wasn't just one night, Sarah, it was every night before it leading up to this." She scoffed. "Oh, don't be dramatic." I turned to face her, taking a slow breath. "Dramatic, Sarah? She humiliated me in front of everyone, and you sat there, you let it happen." Her expression hardened. "I didn't let anything happen. She wanted her moment, Robert, she wanted to celebrate with the father she never had." I laughed, a short bitter sound. "The father she never had? Are you hearing yourself? I was her father, I raised her. She didn't mean it the way you're taking it." I shook my head. "Then tell me, Sarah, how exactly did she mean it?" She opened her mouth, closed it, exhaled, and in that moment I saw the truth. She knew I was right, but she was too proud to admit it. I nodded slowly. "That's what I thought." I walked past her, grabbing my suitcase. "Where are you going?" she demanded. "Away," I said simply. "Robert," she snapped, following me down the hall, "you're not thinking this through." I stopped at the front door, turning back. "No, Sarah," I said quietly, "for the first time in years, I am." I opened the door, stepped outside, and didn't look back. No more second chances. For the first week, I didn't tell anyone where I was. I shut my phone off, checked into a small Airbnb on the other side of town, just existed. Then the messages started. "Sarah, are you really doing this? Sarah, you're being childish, come home. Anna, hey, I heard you left, are you okay? Anna, I didn't mean to upset you, but you're overreacting. Sarah, you're embarrassing yourself, grow up." I didn't answer any of them. Then on day 10, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't pick up, but something told me to. "Hello? Robert," a voice I hadn't expected, a voice I hadn't heard in years. "Lauren, Sarah's sister, the one person who saw everything." Lauren was always the only one in Sarah's family who actually treated me like a human being. She never bought into Anna's worship of Mark, she always rolled her eyes when Sarah made excuses for Anna's selfishness. She saw through all of it, and now she was calling me. "Lauren," I said, confused, "why are you calling?" "I heard what happened," she said. "Sarah told me you left, are you okay?" I exhaled, rubbing my temples. "I don't know. I figured," she said. "Listen, I don't know if you need to hear this, but you deserved better than that." Something inside me cracked. I didn't realize how much I needed to hear those words until she said them. "I don't know what to do," I admitted. "I wasted 20 years on them." "You didn't waste it," she said. "You gave love to people who didn't appreciate it, that's on them, not you." I swallowed the lump in my throat. "Yeah." There was a pause, then carefully she asked, "Where are you?" I hesitated, but then I realized Lauren was the only one I actually trusted, so I told her. And that one conversation, it changed everything. Lauren showed up that evening. I didn't ask her to, but I wasn't surprised. She had always been the kind of person who did what she thought was right, even when no one asked her to. I heard the knock, opened the door, and there she was standing on the porch of my small Airbnb, a takeout bag in one hand, a six-pack of beer in the other. "You look like you could use this," she said. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. "You have no idea." I stepped aside, letting her in. She set the food on the table, then turned to me, crossing her arms. "So what's the plan?" I rubbed a hand over my face. "I don't know, Lauren, I've been living on autopilot since I left, I just don't know where to go from here." She nodded like she understood. "You're not going back, are you?" I hesitated. "No." "Good," she exhaled, leaning against the table. "They don't deserve you." I let out a hollow laugh. "You're the first person to say that out loud." She scoffed. "Robert, I've been saying it for years, you just weren't ready to hear it." She wasn't wrong. Lauren had always seen through the nonsense. When Anna manipulated Sarah, when Mark was suddenly the hero, when Sarah refused to stand up for me, Lauren was the only one who ever called it what it was, and I ignored it. I sank into the chair across from her, staring at my hands. "I gave them everything, Lauren, and I got nothing." She sat down too. "That's not true, you got proof." I frowned. Proof of what? She tilted her head. That they never really saw you as family, that no matter what you did, you were always just a placeholder. It sucks, Robert, but at least now you know. I stared at her, letting the words settle in. She was right. For 20 years, I let them string me along, hoping that someday I'd be enough, that someday Anna would wake up and realize who had really been there for her, that Sarah would stop making excuses. That day never came. I sighed, running a hand through my hair. I should have left years ago. Lauren gave me a sad smile. Maybe, but you're leaving now, that's what matters. She pushed the takeout toward me. Now shut up and eat, you look like hell. For the first time in a long time, I laughed. The final straw. I spent the next week looking for apartments. I wasn't going back to that house, to that family. Sarah could keep it. But just when I thought I was finally moving on, they pulled me back in. It happened on a Wednesday. I was sitting in a coffee shop, scrolling through apartment listings when my phone buzzed. Anna. I ignored it, then came another, Sarah, then another and another. By the time I checked my notifications, I had 13 missed calls. Something was wrong. I hesitated, then finally answered the next call. What? It was Sarah, and she sounded frantic. Robert, you need to talk to Anna. I clenched my jaw. I don't need to do anything. Please, she begged, she needs you. I almost hung up right then, but something in her voice made me stop. Against my better judgment, I exhaled. What happened? Sarah hesitated, then Ethan called off the wedding. I blinked. What? He cheated on her, she said, voice shaking. She's devastated, she keeps calling Mark, but he won't answer. She needs you, Robert, please. I let out a slow breath. Anna, the same Anna who humiliated me in front of everyone, the same Anna who erased me from her life the second Mark walked back in, now she needed me. I should have felt bad for her, I didn't. I was done being her backup plan. So I said the only thing I could, not my problem, Sarah.